Twitter bans, completely agreed, as we always talk about those. But map bans, anything you're expecting?
Well, certainly not theme park. That's definitely out early, and no coastline either. But wow, Clubhouse, definitely a really good one for forZe. They've won it, I believe, 3 or 4 times. It's been a really good map for them, mostly 7-2, 7-3s. Whereas the record for BDS, a little less. They have like a draw and a win. So overall, this is a favorable map to forZe. And they had last ban, so they chose this instead of coastline.
So what do people think about this matchup? forZe versus BDS is going to be a big clash here. I know there's a lot of fans of BDS, but some that are against. And here it is, 51% for BDS, 44 for forZe, and a 5% draw ratio there. So it makes sense also math-wise. So there it is. Man.
I think I would have given forZe the favor over BDS, although forZe did have the roster change more recently. So, but at the same time, like BDS, I think they should have stuck with Panix, because I don't think RXWD or Ironics, whatever you want to call him, is the play. He's definitely been by far a bit more of, I hate to say this, sometimes the dead weight on the team.
So have fun coming out from Shaiko. First ban, Thatcher, not surprised here for Clubhouse. I would really want to contrast this with the operators we had banned in the last matchup. As again, this is the second time we see this in our play day. Second operator being removed will be a Heartbreacher. Would not be surprised. Stepana, Thermite, or Maverick. Maverick probably.
No, Captain again. All right.
Ooh. Yeah, and you say again. Yeah, that's very true. Who was the first attacker? It was Monty that was banned in the last match.
Yeah, that was more of a target ban against G2 though.
So first, it's forZe banning out Mira. Yep, forZe and banning Mira. Honestly, this is like how predictable Team Empire was.
Well, we only saw it even used one time last match when it was unbanned. It's not as common to use on this map. I mean, you will definitely take advantage of it in some situations if you have some strats for it, because there are some positions downstairs that are useful as well. But yeah, it's not a big deal. Thatcher ban does make things a little bit harder on Cash, but with no Heartbreacher ban on top of that, it's not as big a deal.
So here we are getting things underway. A Site 1 will be Church, not surprising at all. We'll see a Vigil being played by Shaiko. I mean, usually it's him on the Jaeger, so I'm very curious to see what happens if we have that 2-2 Jaeger come true. Because you still can run around pretty quickly as a 2-speed, and you have that extra armor just giving you more tanking power. So honestly, I think somehow in Pro League, Jaeger's, again, somehow going to be stronger. So it's going to be very cool to see. But Jaeger has been switched out. As you see, Ironics going for the pod. We're going to keep calling him Ironics, no more RX, as this is the official name change. And we'll move on. And next season, they're in. We're going to just not say this anymore. But Alem's going for the reinforcements outside of Jacuzzi. Rafael setting up upstairs. You can tell this is a similar style to what we saw in the previous game, which is we're going to try to delay as much as possible on the top floor, roam in there, and then go back down to the basement once push comes to shove. And it looks like Rafael and the squad are reinforcing into bar and actually standing closer to the lobby. So all the hatches should be opened up, especially the bar one, to drop down.
I definitely think it works a little bit better with Mute and Mozzie in play, but at the same time, still the Mute plus the Vigil should do some good work if Shaiko could stop getting shot early in the round somehow, losing half his health. But at least they've got the Legion as well to help slow things down a little bit. He's not going to be the greatest compared to, I think, the Mozzie personally, but it's still possibly useful in slowing them down as they do start to try and get some of that map control after they're able to drone what they can drone, despite the Mute Jammers and Vigil Cloak. But they're going to drone the middle floor first as well, as they drone the top floor, just to make sure they kind of catch both at the same time, get some idea where players might be at. Nice spot through that as well, the middle grate there, blocking the shots onto the drone itself, so that helps, and then good use of the X-Kairos. They are going to have to deal with the Kaid though, so it's going to be a little tricky without the Thatcher, as again, that kitchen hatch becomes more difficult to deal with.
So at the start of this, Shaiko was positive 40 in kills and deaths. He's going to need 4 more to make it a 4-4. So Let's see. Again, we actually hit that. Every death is going to make it a bit more difficult, and so far he's holding on for dear life. We're close to hitting the halfway mark on our first round, and forZe are, going into BDS what BDS planned for them to do, which is waste a lot of time in trying to clear them. However, forZe realize all of this, and they've already put pressure onto Pool. They've already put pressure to open up the hatch through there, or to open up the barricades and try to push through there. And they're prepared for this. forZe know this strategy. They've faced it many times in the past, and they can find this push whenever needed. But you're going to need to prepare yourself. And I don't know if WGG was able to spot one player inside a garage. I don't know if it was even visible in the cam, but we know there's someone there. And he's sitting right behind the barbed wire, or the how you say it? I don't even know what to call that. The fence, the chain link fence. There it is.
It's kind of funny too that forZe is one of these few teams that rather than bringing Buck, brings Sledge consistently from Rask and tears up a ton of the floor with him, and doesn't usually get punished for it. It always surprises me a little bit. More C4's kills don't come out. WTG though with a nice slow peek, almost gets a kill for it, but at least doesn't lose his own head. Takes a little bit of damage, but Lems with a decent position. Ironics, however, nice C4 kill at Rask right after I say that C4 would be a good counter to him, and well, they ran into that. But Shockwave trades it right back on Ironics.
I'm not sure if Rask was able to use grenades at any point, but there's no time. They need to push into this. WGG will find a Lems, but it would cost Amizian with one man of Shaiko. 8 seconds in, but Shockwave finds the headshot, and Renshiro is off the site. Pasha's going to be able to set the plant down, and forZe out of nowhere actually recover the round. They're going to go and fire in here. Renshiro, still one Pokeball left here to throw. And can he find the angle? Not even. Renshiro is just unable to hit the shot. Shockwave holding in from just lying on the floor inside a church. He's going to find him on rotation into Armory, and there it is all done. 4 set. I don't know who it was that was playing around inside of the dirt tunnel, but man, that was sneaky. That was it
definitely worked out.
It was a cool late round rotation, and I wonder if it wasn't the Maverick.
I mean, honestly, we see that quite often as a late round rotation when they can't get enough map control fast enough, and it often fails. It's really on BDS to be able to push back against that in Dirt Tunnel, because we often have seen that lately be like kind of a backup plan and just lead to a lot of death on the attacker side. So the fact they were able to pull it off was due a lot to that early man advantage they were able to get. I mean, especially, for example, WTG catching the rotate out of the garage definitely helped. I mean, it took him a little while, but, he was on flank watch anyways, making sure no one went to those blue stairs. But at the same time, the patience paying off in BDS not being able to find some of those kills definitely worked in their favor. It just, the C4 kill on Rask, though, was a nice start for BDS. They just weren't able to follow that up with enough kills of their own. We'll see the Goyo in play, though, as he is not banned this time, so there will be a bit more utility soak available. Means, of course, you got to make sure that you get those grenades in play, but at least with 2 sets of grenades again, because Maverick brings those, and Zophia's lifelines, should be enough to do the job, I think, here. You've also got the extra breach charges from IQ in case you need those for anything.
Now, there's the Bailiff being used to open those late round rotations. And it looks like it won't be an actual rotation hole into servers, just something of an angle that you can use to fight people pushing into that window or pushing into cache. So overall, there's a lot of potential here from this setup with the Wamai and the Goyo as well. Hello? Okay, there it is. That's why you might want to clear the battery first and deal with that, the pilot Electro Claw, but there's Rask that'll find a Lems. Goyo's out. Still pre-firing inside construction, knowing that there's a player that needs to get out of this position. And Shaiko down! Oh no! Right on the rotation. WTG will take a bit of damage, just trying to move in to finish this kill. They know how important this is, this Pasha will confirm, but at what cost? Ironics and Renshiro will find a kill each, and there's the Cloud immediately using his Electro Claw on the wall into cash from construction to slow down the attack.
Fortunately, they had to face 2 TCSGs and the Alda. It's a tough fight. At least they took down one of them and killed Shaiko, that should give them a slight man advantage, even with it technically being 3-3. But that did cost them a lot of time and manpower just to make that play, despite Rask having a really great early entry into logistics. Now WTG having to rotate around while Shockwave holds this position to lock them from rotating out of sight. They need to do something to get cash, and it doesn't seem like they have that kind of control yet.
Minute 18. We're running out of time here, but there's still 3 players in. And I really wonder where the Goyo shields are. We saw a bit during prep phase, but they're really going to slow you down come late round. There's still some drones in for forZe. You can tell there's 5 that have been deployed, and these are the only 5 that forZe have available to them. One around the corner, he sees the shield. It's a spot for any Wamai discs. And that's really the thing that's going to slow you down the most. This is why we saw both Goyo and Wamai banned in the game before. And this is, again, why you see so many of these shields in play. That's so frustrating to deal with. Oh my, I really feel for forZe on this attack. Nitrocell will sail out and won't hit anyone, but Shockwave will find Ironics in the back. Peeking, unfortunately, there in the wrong moment. And the IQ is going to drop to try to push into servers. You have one hole, and I'm not sure why you're taking that engagement there, Renshiro, but it's 18 seconds left. They're going into sight. You know where he is. You can try to clear out Renshi, who's already down on the floor. Rafale is last in. You can go for the plant here if you have the diffuser, and the mission will clear out Renshiro. Oh no, they're lining up! Rafale finds 2! Should have never happened in a third! Ironics will zap WTG. Oh my god, Devin, did you see it? Did you see that?
Honestly, Renshiro did such a great job, though, holding those shields. Even though he got down, playing between 2 shields and actually rotating off the one that could explode on him, I believe, to one that I think possibly wasn't a Goyo shield. Really well played. That delayed them for so long.
Look. I have to say, I've always been a fan of baseball, and this round exactly from forZe taught me how to throw perfectly. Oh my god. I cannot believe it.
Definitely.
The diffuser was in construction. It was there.
Yeah, that was the struggle, though, is you want to push from both those sides. That was what you want to do, right? You want to take cash and you want to take in servers through the breach hole. Problem is they had to line up to do it, essentially, or be in positions that Maestro was pretty much able to take advantage of the Alda's near infinite seeming ammo. And it's so difficult to push him. And, of course, all the utility was going to get soaked by the shields. So they weren't really able to do anything to utility-wise to stop him. Not to mention possibly losing some of those grenades from losing, I think it was a mission, or I think it might have been the Maverick, or no, it was Rask early. So, yeah, it's a tough spot. I mean, they're going to have to face Goyo again here downstairs, but with no Wamai at least, and only 1 extra shield, so it's not going to be too bad. But yeah, that was well played by BDS, especially Renshiro, despite him not getting finishing kills, but also great clutch that we had there by the Maestro. See some typical Goyo shield positions here. I like the extra bit to give Shaiko some coverage. It's also going to allow someone to play a little bit from a flank inside Arsenal to help him on covering Janitor. I want to call it Janitor. Was it Generator?
You have that extra angle, and once that shield is destroyed, which eventually it will, it's just... You can have the one player supporting you, which is always great. You slide on the floor, you're likely covered, but I'm waiting to see if Amision will be playing that late round flank into their tunnel, as we saw before, which would absolutely destroy that sort of play. So there's only the Goyo in this one. There's the Jaeger, so there's no Wamai, and you can't keep on capturing utility from those pesky attackers round wide. Some drones have been lost early on from forZe just to gather information if there's anybody on the top floor from the defense. Not the case this time around, as you'll see the hatches being opened up here by Pasha and the crew. And Amision can start working on whatever hatch they really need. He doesn't even need to open a hatch at this point, as you know, you can just use him. Oh no. Alright. There's the other one.
Took 2, but he got it. They have extra utility because now they're bringing the Ash on top of the 3 operators they were bringing last time with 4 grenades and the lifeline. So they're doing okay despite that loss.
Does Pasha still have 2 Exkyros? That's my question right now. Because the Maverick is being used to open up one hatch. And I wonder if there's an electro claw that he still has. Huh. I wonder why the Maverick isn't the one that's opening this side. Is, you know, we might be afraid of 1 or 2 nitro cells, but can be held. Fair enough. There it is. You're going to try to nade around the angle and should be able to destroy... No. It dropped perfectly. Well done. WTG is sneaking up in the meantime. And he's just pushing. He's just found 2 free kills for nothing. 1 more from Shockwave. He's just watching from the hatch. They're going to drop into Rafale. But now... the attackers know exactly where he is. 1 shotgun's not going to be enough, and there's the finisher. Emizian will find Rafale. forZe in the lull of all. They're going to just push into church and take control. How the Ash was able to find 2 kills is beyond me.
Yeah, that was... I mean, they were able to take advantage of just a lot of the chaos they were creating. BDS seemed to be scrambling a lot to figure out which angles to fight. And, I mean, that was a very risky drop into Arsenal as well. Obviously, a little bit blind and just easily got killed. But thanks to huge man advantage, forZe was able to turn that around. Some of that, as you mentioned, was that double for WTG. Just able to catch a lot of the players focused on so many different angles. And that's due to forZe just having a very swift round. Getting into positions pretty quickly. Imagine that was good droning coordination, the fact they didn't have to deal with a roam.
Attackers need to locate.
We'll see how church goes again, but it again looks like a downstairs defense of that. You know, you've got 2 electricity operators, so they plan to at least try and hold the walls with the batteries. And I don't think that'll make that much of a difference because they're not bringing thermite. They're not really looking to open walls very often, so much as just hatches. So I don't really know if Renshiro bringing the bandit's really going to do a lot for them. But you never know, and it is a nitro cell you get at least, so it's not a bad thing, as you can always make use of 3 nitro cells here. They will again be bringing the shield with smoke, something that's, you know, pretty common these days. Shields are so strong, you know, in their current iteration.
5 seconds to go.
So we'll see how this round goes, but so far I'm feeling forZe more so than BDS to possibly take this. Not to mention their really strong track record on this map, including beating Empire.
And so that's a long arm shot there from the Habana. Definitely been practicing. You go in, you spot the top. There's nobody on that top floor. forZe realizes that it's all clear. BDS is going to be sticking to that basement in church. And yeah, you just set up a Claymore to not, you know, have a late round rotation play against you through Oil Pit. Zofia knows what's up. And yeah, Shockwave's just gonna fall back and use whatever he's got. Hold the angle, await your teammates as they open up those hatches, and you'll be set right now. The cut is still in play. You have 3 nitros potentially here for BDS. I'm not sure if the bandit's bringing anything else. And yeah, there it is. 3 nitro cells, 1 shield, 2 pieces of barbed wire. One of them, as we saw, was already destroyed. And the X-Kairos are opening things up as we speak. All well for forZe, and they know that they don't really have to fear anything from BDS.
Well, they're going to have to try and find some easy picks here. I mean, the positions of BDS is not really going to be confusing or unknown. You're going to know where they're at primarily. It's the same fights you're usually taking. You just have to win some of them. And a lot of that comes down to good utility usage, making sure you have good situational awareness of where those ADSs are, despite you not bringing IQ. And, you know, players like Rask being able to do their job without getting C4'd to make sure they get all the hatches open in a timely fashion. Time is starting to dwindle down, but that's why Shockwave's starting to make moves now. Seeing if you could pressure, I imagine that Shaiko behind the generator. And you see also angles being held from Pasha, trying to stay safe from C4s by getting on the shelving. Smart. Now they just have to get someone out of position on BDS to either gain more map control on the bottom floor, like perhaps blue, or to get a pick out of it. And they've got to deal with, of course, those electric claws still making things hard, and Pasha actually taking a little damage, possibly from an impact nade.
So they're waiting for the X-Kairos to be used, and there's the hatch that potentially will be opened up. I'm not sure if the Cloud was able to take any of his utility out. Yeah, run back, you take no damage. And too slow there on the impactor nitro cell. I believe it was a nitro cell there that was used. Pasha, the ADS. That's the angle grip, the power of it. And grenade from Emizian will hit. Check who's down, will force 1 smoke canister to be used here to block the Zofia from just walking into blue. Shockwave knows what's up as Rask will find 1 kill onto Rafale. And there's one player peeking around the corner here into blue is Renshiro. Find one kill on Shockwave. Peeking into Moto. You'll lose the gunfight as WTG and Amizian. Get the last on Renshiro. forZe victorious on round 4 again. This church defense is not working for BDS.
No, I mean, that definitely reminds me of old school Empire. Like we were talking about how forZe was looking much more like Empire. They're winning their gunfights. They're consistent on their pushes and how they eliminate members of BDS when the positions are known. They get their intel and then they start making pushes and start making kills. They also catch a lot of players on BDS off guard because of the speed with which forZe executes. That's again something we used to see from Empire. Something we kind of did actually see when Empire finally was on attack on Coastline. So it's good to see both these teams really just continuing with that sort of Russian attack methodology. I gotta say overall, I feel like out of all the regions, Russia is the best on attack. They just are such a strong attacking region when it comes to knowing how to do the job. It's funny because technically attack shouldn't be the one that's consistent because it's having to respond to what defense does. But the Russian mentality of how attacks are executed, and Joystick kind of highlighted it in the interview of why they felt more confident on attacks because they have the additional information they get from drones and they focus on really good communication and intel. And when they can play into that as attackers, they do great on it. As defenders, they would seem to struggle a bit more with being able to get that level of consistent information because they can't move their intel around. Maybe they just need more operators like Echo that have extra bit of mobility to their counter intel because it seems to make a difference. Or, hey, just maybe get better at mozzie catching drones that don't get shot so you can use their drones against them. Either way, though, these Goyo shields have been working out okay for BDS. Did help them net their one win, which was on this bomb site, because so far they've won only cash and lost church all 3 times.
Here's the Habana pressuring again. I mean, look, there's one thing that we learned from watching SSG, and I'm going to keep bringing it up because they're just so good at taking that server wall, that their timings are impeccable. Thatcher or no Thatcher. And in this case, you're trying to really squeeze out the best you can from that wall. Unfortunately, it's just, as a Maverick, you have to be careful, but also there's a certain way that will always work no matter what. It's one of the most consistent things that you can do in this game is playing the Maverick. It will always work the same way working with these walls. It's all about your speed that you're using, not about how well you're conserving your charge, because it is bound to your speed and how you move. There's a take though from, oh no, you see him in stockroom, Amizian closing getting kill in lounge, but one player from BDS will escape. 3 rounds on attack though, Devin. Already a pretty good start regardless for forZe.
I mean, Rask, again, takes control of logistics much quicker than many other teams do, and he turned that into control of the construction connector very quickly as well. I miss you may have missed his shots, but at least he started to pin the player down. Now that they know that a lot of these shields are Goyo shields, setting them on fire like that starts to burn players out of position if they can continue to do that and get around dual my discs. Again, speed is important for that, getting those before he can recharge them. This could very easily go forZe's way because they struggled a bit with this attack last time, but now they know how this defense, but now they know how it works. They're better prepared for it. They're looking to get around a lot of these shield plays. The smoke is at least stalling them out a little bit, but 50 seconds left is enough to make this work, especially after Shockwave takes down Shaiko and Goyo shields.
There it is.
Against 4 Lems.
Perfect there. Unfortunately, Alems, this isn't a role-playing game where suddenly as a Goyo you have invulnerability to that fire, but I'm gonna have to deal with it. Rafal is still in the same position. We saw him in double shield inside of the hallway. Tell me that's not frustrating to play against. Maestro pre-firing around the corner as Zofia is ready for him already. And Rask will take a bit of damage from the smoke. You can probably sneak through. Oh, there you go. There you go. Renshiro taking some damage. He's now on HP. Shockwave will find Ironix, leaving only Rafal and Renshiro alone. Renshiro will get 1 kill, but the diffuser's been set, and the Maestro is looking the wrong way. There's one flashbang up the stairs, and the Ash is pressuring from below. The Maestro will have to come in and fight, but it's being tagged in WTG with a finisher, leaving Renshi alone with little health. And there's the final shot. Shockwave, knowing where Renshiro is. It's too good to be true. No matter how many shields you're going to set down, forZe will still break you through. You're taking forZe to Clubhouse, a team that has smashed even Team Empire on this map, and it's a 4-1 on the attacking side. Man.
Really well done by forZe. They knew what they needed to do to clear those shields out. They knew those shields would explode, force them out of cash, and then they took full advantage of that. Yeah, they took a lot of damage from the smoke. That was probably the only unfortunate part of the attack. But Pasha's crawl through the small hole open at the bottom of the reinforcement worked very well because it also defied the holes that were open for rotates and fighting in from top of cash stairs into cash itself. He avoided those by being so prone and low anyways, and then crouching and kind of just moving quickly over to the other side of the room to set up for that plant. Then it forced them to try and push him to try and get angles to fight him to stop that plant, and that just worked in the favor of the players on the doorway. With WTG also with great work from below, taking out one of the shields to be able to set them on fire. I think probably went around the ADSs and Wamai discs that way by hitting it from below. I think probably with an Ash Breach charge, I'm assuming. It worked out very nice. So overall, just a great job from forZe looking at what they didn't do well the first time attacking cash, completely adapting to it and working all the way around everything BDS was trying to bring. Will they be able to do the same thing here for all the shields being brought on the gym? Hard to say, but if they do, that means we go into the second half, 5-1 advantage for forZe on attack on Clubhouse. We know this is a great map for them, so we're not surprised, but still, BDS really on the back foot here.
I mean, for people that haven't heard about this, Empire played forZe on Consulate, and it was a victory for forZe, right? So forZe proved that they could beat a team that is usually very well known for playing on this map, but they also played in the past, and it ended up in a forZe victory. That was in the first half of this season, and this was when Empire was a bit of a better standing than what they are right now. It's just forZe, somehow they found every way to fix their problems. In the last play day, however, it was BDS played against Empire. They went to Consulate, and there BDS is able to smash Empire. It looked like BDS had finally fixed their problems, and Shaiko was given a free reign. But we found out today from the interview with Joystick that the problem is very much a mental one with that team. So maybe BDS's win was a bit easier than anyone would have anticipated. And forZe is definitely showing that they have what it takes to deal with BDS. So far, 4 rounds, they're sitting great for this one. Renshiro on the Goyo again. You're going to have shields galore, but you have every single bit of utility to deal with it. You got grenades for Mizian, you got the Ash, you got the Zofia, you got also grenades on the Sledge. It's just giving a Heartbreacher grenades is something that somehow will make forZe even better.
Mizian looks like he's really struggling with this Maverick work here, and the whole time he's doing this, he's forcing WTG to spend his time watching that dirt tunnel possible peak, and this is really costing them a lot of time. Almost 2 minutes burned so far, and they have yet to find any kills, having taken a slight bit of damage from the electricity on the Mizian. But time management gets to be pretty key on this site because you really need to take 2 sides of it. Right now, they're entirely focused on taking the Jacuzzi side and just now getting part of that job done. This is too slow. I see this round, oddly enough, on the worst bomb site for this team here, struggling to manage to make this work. I mean, Renshiro though, so there's that.
Oh no! Oh no! They're struggling with the wall, but at least the Goyo's down. That's a really big pick here, and finally, you're gonna see that wall being opened up. Why is this not opened up ages ago? WTG will get a limbs, and things are starting to get way faster, and they have to. It's 30 seconds left on this round, and the Ash is pressuring, the Zofia is pressuring as well. Utility being dumped into sight as Shockwave will find Ironix. 2 left in Shaiko and Rafal, looking like a force 5-1 and 15 seconds left. There's 1 shield being popped and destroyed. Rafal taking a lot of damage, and a Mizian with a clear up. Now you know where Shaiko is. He's the last alive and is unable to do any damage. It's Rask for the headshot, and it's done. forZe a 5-1 at the half. Talk about dominant.
I mean, it helps when the Maverick, who's being slow that whole round, manages to get 2 picks out of it, and you've got Rask doing his usual thing. But man, they just turned that whole bomb site into a shooting gallery, flanking it on all sides very quickly, getting a lot of kills. And honestly, a big problem for BDS that we talk about sometimes, whenever BDS isn't doing well, guess who's also not doing well? Shaiko. And that's really hurting them in terms of fragging power. They're not getting man advantage hardly ever. Shaiko isn't going off. He's not having those rounds where he gets 2-3 kills flawlessly. he's just maybe getting one and then getting picked off.
They don't even need...
On.
They're not even bringing like drone clear or something like that. He's not even moving around the map. It's really weird to see.
More like how Empire were playing on their attacks on Coastline, where it's like they're not bringing anti-roam. They're just droning well and fragging out. It's the Russian style, I guess.
So let's see how this goes now. Rask on the reinforcements.
They are going to have the Mute Mozzie Vigil Castle combo, and with Legion for extra slowdown bonus points. So overall, I like that. I do like having the intel as extra a bit more, though, where they bring maybe the Valkyrie to have the extra bit of intel on cam so that the roamers upstairs not only deny intel, but they also get a little bit extra from the site player able to watch those. And then maybe some of the good minds, though, could do some of the similar job to at least watch their flanks for them.
Attacker's objective is to locate a
So
bomb.
there's a mission with the last reinforcement. You saw his castle barricades being set upstairs. Putting a lens on the Ash, Shaiko on the Habana. Some people might be thinking, why is not Shaiko on the Habana? Well, or on the Ash, excuse me, but somehow he actually is better on Habana. It's actually insane. But there's one Vigil setting upstairs, and he's gonna get instantly tapped as Renshiro walks up, and we couldn't quite see that, but man, to take that angle and win it, Renshiro definitely is the mountain for his team. And there it is, BDS with a big entry here in the round. WTG though, with the refrag as Renshiro just dropped down into Oil Pit, is gonna get instantly tapped and finished off. A lot of aggression in the first minute of the round.
I mean, at least they were able to take out Renshiro. That's a lot of utility down. That also means it'll be harder for them to clear out some of the castle barricades, potentially. But they also have the 4 grenades and double soft breacher combo that we saw later on from forZe. So that makes it pretty easy to have some backup utility, especially with no Jaeger or Wamai being brought. There's pretty much nothing to stop all of that soft breach from being used. So that means positioning from forZe is going to be really important to make sure they don't get hit by a lot of that. But again, this is about time burning. Now they have some hint that they're going to have to worry about Dirt Tunnel, so that flank won't be a surprise to them. With 2 players at least on site to be able to watch this, I don't think this will buy them a whole lot. So really the play needs to be here from Alems or Shaiko to start getting some opening picks, and then just fast pressure. And you're seeing that start to come out now.
And there's WTG with one more, and Shockwave and another. Oh, the flick! Too slow from the defense, as Alems will net 2 kills. Pasha diving right into him. It's a 2v1 as Shockwave is down in the meantime. Diffuser's a bit too far back, and I'm not sure if forZe know about this, but the castle's going to prepare himself, and it seems like he can actually take this angle and go behind Alems if he's not sure about it. There's a rotation, no claymore set anywhere. Oh, he's going to be watching that hatch. If Alems doesn't know about any of this, it can spell disaster. You know where one player downed is. You don't know where the second one is. And it's all about kills. It's going to take a while to rotate out and grab that diffuser. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. And Lems is trying to confirm. Is he inside a tunnel? Where is he? There's Shaiko. Finally the finisher on the Shockwaves. They're already down on the floor. And the Ash is going to walk in. The castle at the perfect moment. The goo mine will be popped. And you can drop at any point in time. Does the Ash know? She knows something's up. You could watch the rotation. You know that if you run that clock down, it's going to be your advantage here as a Mizian. Going in for the plant. He hears the drop, but he doesn't know where his opponent is. Going in for double flash. But the Ash will win it. Alems! The G36 is up. The UMP loses yet another round in the history of Siege. Man, that was a great play from Alems. People always, you know, they make the meme, haha, angle grip, haha, AR-33, whatever. There's the G36 angle grip doing the work, able to flick. No angle grip, you'll lose that gunfight. It's done. It's dusted. The castle's out.
A couple things really worked in favor of Alems, though, that round. And that's one, that he had a drone left to be able to clear a bunch of the downstairs to know that he was just likely to deal with a rotate back for a retake kind of position. And the second one is that I believe it was Pasha, or no, Shockwave, I think, that died eventually. Up to that point, he might not have known that it was a 1v1 and thought it was a 2v1 and was playing a lot more cautiously. Once he realized it was a 1v1, he knew relatively what areas were clear and was able to push into a position he better bait out the castle. I mean, yes, of course, at the end of the day, he won the flick on the gunfight, and that's really what won it. but he did have some advantages that he was able to take, advantage of down to the last second. Not to mention the extra time. You saw him doing some droning with about 50 seconds left. So a lot of things, the stars kind of aligned just to give Alems that small sliver of a chance to win that. However, at 5-2 here, I don't think that's going to be a big comeback for BDS. I think this still goes 7-2, 7-3 for forZe, unless we see BDS really able to get quite a few more rounds shut down against forZe. I don't know. forZe just overall seems to be a lot more in control.
So, BDS, they got one round here just to put an extra one on the board. We've seen a comeback today already, right? It is very possible in this one. forZe, though, will double down. They're going full meta game in this one, bringing out the Wamai, bringing out the Goyo. This is the maximum amount of slowing that you can get. You got Mozzie, no mute, fair enough, but you have a Valk and the Jaeger. Information that you can ferry in from the Valk, and of course, the Jaeger for Rast that can just run around the map if needed. I'm sure BDS will know about all of this. So bringing Shaiko again on the Habana, and Alems is running the Ash, and there it is. Great play with the Maverick. Open up as much of the wall as you want. You can break into it, use one charge, Ash charge if you want to destroy it. You can run the Buck for it. All there, all possibilities for you.
Well, let's see how efficient Rafel's going to be on these Maverick play that we saw some struggle from Mizian. There is not going to be any kind of denial on the other side of the wall, as they've instead focused on shield play with denial of utility throwables with the Jaeger-Wamai combo with Goyo shields. So that's more of the game there. Ooh, a nice try by Shaiko, but he's the one taking most of the damage there. Now, last round, they killed Rask early on that Vigil, and that was definitely a big boon for them towards the end of the round. They were able to make it some plays work to some extent. But still, despite being the player down in a 4v5, they still brought it down to 1v1 at the end, so BDS really need to find early man advantage, especially with just barely over a minute left. If they don't find someone soon and start getting things open, time alone is going to work against them here. At least they have one wall opened. They really need to do quite a bit more.
So your task right now as forZe is obviously to delay as much as you can. With a minute left, if you can just keep holding on to Garage, you have a big chance of taking this. Renshiro is taking a lot of damage. You got to be careful, man. Those angles, they're way wider than what you may imagine. Just trying to peek around Garage, and there's Renshiro on the floor. He might pick himself back up, but it's up to his teammates to get him up to those 20 health points. Valkyrie rotating away, just sitting behind the reinforced wall, just so you can nitro later on in the round. And there's one potential roam player to rotate back on the site later. And you say later, there's 25 seconds left in this one, Devin. And everything's being opened up, barbed wire being destroyed. And the Maverick is waiting for the timer. There's one flashbang in. Plus one player back. Safal will find Shockwave. You can walk in here into two angles, but it's Alems and his squad of BDS who are winning the gunfights. Rask and Pasha trying to rotate in. Rasto with a beautiful kill. And the Nitro Swell to follow up. But it's Ironix with one kill. You still have the shotgun there in no time. That was the most important kill from the Jaeger. Find the kill. The diffuser's too far back. The Ash picks it up, but it's a bit too slow. You want it to get into a better position. And the Mozzie below was ready with a shotty. It's all done. Match point now for forZe at 6-2.
Well, good push into the, as we call it, the 22nd meta, working in favor of forZe there. They did play into it. You know, they brought the Wamai, the Jaeger, and the Goyo. They're going to burn as much time as they possibly can, and it worked. That's what won them at the end is time, certainly not manpower, as that was a pretty good storming by BDS to try and make up for their lack of time. But ultimately, it's going to be a fairly one-dimensional push, and that it ultimately gets punished if they don't have garage control because of where you saw what the Jaeger was able to do, which I believe was Rask, who's going to still be on that Jaeger. So it's just, they need to be a little bit more efficient on that. Now, of course, we are going to go back down to Church, something that BDS was able to win, but just barely last time, and mostly due to just man disadvantage with Rask dying early on the Vigil. This time they're going to play differently. They're going to have the Pulse as well. I think this might be where we see the 7-2 after that last round, just because I don't see BDS getting a strong lead unless Shaiko goes with one of these kind of 4K ace rounds. I think we might see the end of this match here.
So, again, Mizian bringing in the Pulse. The first time we see the Pulse, I think, today in general, right? Maybe it was played once.
I think it was played once earlier on, yeah.
I think so. But
I think it was on Club or in the G2 Navi match.
Okay. But we're not really seeing much of him on here. I really wonder where they'll play Mizian in this one. If it's going to be in the back of, or in the front of our arsenal, where you usually see the pulse that can kind of counter kitchen, have the Valkyrie to help as well. Right now, forZe at least know that they can get 1 point out of this one. They have many rounds that they can burn to get to an eventual tie, which is the maximum that BDS can get. 1 point off of a tie. Alems, in the meantime, is the one pressuring here inside of the garage storage, and the drone will be ferried down the oil pit. There's no claymore being set here, and you see the shields that are out. forZe, again, there's a meta game. They're bringing it, and Togoyo in play. No Am I this time around.
It definitely helped previously, but also denying some of these drones and then getting additional intel from the pulse, I think, is a good choice. Mozzie is currently in a pretty good place. You see a lot of wooden barricades being utilized by these teams to really kind of stall things out. You saw that from BDS when they were on defense. forZe is now using that as well, in combination with the pests. And that's the thing, is if you get those together, it does a good job of holding off. It also was to give Pulse the ability to play around that area to spot people up for possible C4s without being as easily killed. And now, of course, some of that taken away from him, so he's going to play it back a little bit. Probably going to rotate to the usual church spot inside to kind of look through the wall. But in the meantime, they do have the arsenal hatch open, the kitchen hatch. This is very important. He's looking for the angles. Well, I like that he's playing it a bit far back. Shaco just hoping to not give away too much of his head. Take advantage of the shallow angles he has from above. Looks like we could also have Alems dropping down oil pit to push for a flank into blue. Hopefully they've also got Renshiro pushing blue stairs. But time is again dwindling a little bit here. Not as bad as it was on the cash attack, but it is burning down. They have managed to get top floor control, but now they're still opening things up. At least kitchen hatch being open does give them one time advantage. But they've got to turn this into something else. A lot of grenades on the board as well that they've got to do something with.
So finally, cameras are being popped here as one Nitro will sail from Shockwave into Ironics, cleaning him up. Softballs galore, but Renshiro won't be able to find anybody through there, even through the rotations. We can see the X-ray. They cannot. Grenade thrown in, as this will give the info for forZe that there's a player running down the hallway, but it's Renshiro immediately taken away. The Ash again down. Rask, beautiful play there inside of blue, and as they drop, Shaiko will find WTG. Afal is on the floor. And they know here, BDS, that this could be used as bait against them. One player in, that's Ras to find him, and Shaiko with the kill onto Pasha. A 2v1 now. Shaiko can do this. He has done this in the past, but it's a tall task. He flashes himself in the meantime, and to run the corner. The Haban is looking the wrong way as turns around to find the Jaeger, but it's too little, too late. Shockwave with the finisher. It's all over. There it is. forZe victorious against BDS, a 7-2 W.
Well, now that is their third 7-2 on Clubhouse. They've got two 7-2s and a 7-3, so that is the scoreline apparently from forZe when it comes to this map. And again, why you don't want to take them to this map. They've shown they're good on. Once they beat Empire, that was kind of their way of claiming the map. Yep. And you know, much like SSG was in Europe, they certainly are here. So Shockwave, though, proving that he's really come a long way since his time on Empire.
Honestly, 13 kills there for the player. The entirety of the squad working together. And today was just an off day for Shaiko, that's for sure. I think he was something like 2-2-9 at the end, or 3-2-9. But yeah, it's unfortunate. You have those days. It's fine, but you need the entire team to kind of work together for this one. It's BDS. I mean, they beat Empire 7-1, but then they lost 7-4 to Rogue. They lost 7-4 to Na'Vi. They lost 7-2 to Chaos. And, well, now there's another 7-2 loss against forZe. It's a good, I guess, season for forZe. It's the first one in Pro League, and they're already up to 19 points. They're going to be tying with Team Empire and Na'Vi in the meantime. And BDS still staying down alongside Chaos, as Vitality and Rogue are going to be up next.
Well, it just shows we continue to have good new blood in Russia, especially since they even made a player change, bringing in Misjin. And so overall, it's nice to have all these different regions ready to go. But either way, it's forZe doing work.
Yep, we should have our interview here. So let's go and have a quick chat with Pasha. I'll see you in a minute, then.
Hey, hello.
Привет, Pasha. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
And congratulations on your victory here. You're going to Clubhouse again, and you're beating BDS. It seemed like today Shaiko had an off day. Is this something that you kind of put it to your team playing very well and being able to shut him down constantly, or is it just one of those off days that everybody has?
Well, we knew that BDS is not they have 4 players with negative KD, so we knew that if we kill Shaiko, we may win round because of that. And we had a plan. If we make an open kill on Shaiko, we should just stay alive and we'll win. And actually, I don't know if it works or not, but Shaiko wasn't so great today, so there wasn't a problem because of that, I guess.
Okay, well, today we didn't have any actual hard breacher bans on this map, at least between the two of you. Is there a reason why forZe went for that Capital ban instead of, the usual stuff that we see between a Hibana, which could be a counter ban to Shaiko or Thermite or Maverick?
Well, basically, Capital ban is the default ban on Clubhouse. And we actually thought that if they ban Thatcher, they may play with Capital. And we just banned it because of defaults and don't want to play against it, basically.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, forZe, between the Capital and the Mira, there's definitely 2 operators that everybody can kind of predict. So yeah, looking at Clubhouse here, it worked out very well for you. Everybody's fitting well in the squad. I don't know. This is a team that comes in from Challenger League, and you guys play very, very well in the season, and especially in the second half. Next time, you guys are going to be playing against Na'Vi, and I'm sure you were watching that Na'Vi versus G2 game on the same map you were playing on. Any takeaways from that, and how forZe will be preparing to play against Na'Vi?
I don't know, actually. I don't seem Na'Vi playing like something out of my mind. They're playing default and they're just shooting well, I guess, and that's the key.
I'm very excited to see the matchup between you two. That's of course on Wednesday for all the forZe fans out there that really want to watch and see how that goes. But yeah, anything you'd like to say to all your fans? This was yet again a big victory for your team. You guys are playing really well. Can't wait to see you in the next one.
Well, I'd say Shockwave is the best Clubhouse player ever. That's first. Second is thank you all who've been cheering for us. See you on Wednesday against Na'Vi. That would be a spicy game, definitely, because we need to win it. So see ya, everyone.
All right, so that's gonna be our first game on Wednesday, April 8th, Playdate 13. So Pasha, thank you so much. And we'll We'll see maybe on the next Playdays interview. But we'll definitely be seeing you.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Bye.
That's it, Daniel. Bye-bye.